much rushing around. Yes, yes. Oh, yes.
Came to the house. I think you did. Yeah, of course you did.
Yes. How am I? Yeah, very busy at the moment, very good. I'm very busy. In the lockdown, solicitors got dust off the old files, gone through and they found a lot of things before they said out. Now they're thinking, I've got more than I've ever had before. Some of it is very unfair. I would start.
As I say to him, it's not for posterity, it's because you know they look at the photograph of Bruce Fox. How are you doing? Terrible. I found a very good document. Young Warren. How are you? Correct. He won it in one. Century one. Having scanned and all the other things, what do you do when you get home? I had a whole bone scan, whole body bone scan 2 months ago. Because I had an issue with a hip. There was nothing wrong with it. But the funny part about it
You probably noticed, regulars, that our Kent is missing. She is living at the moment being helped by her daughter in London. Alex Smith is very frustrated to be here. He's been coming and going and coming and going, but he has to stay under doctor's orders recently, having had a hip replacement. I can't go any further without mentioning 2 people who seem to be totally indestructible. Bob Currier, who's with us on table number over there. Welcome, Bob. Nothing seems to be tired of Bob Currier. He's had the roughest couple of years you could ever wish to imagine, but he's out going cruising again and driving up and down the country. Watch him on Facebook, it's an interesting story. And his partner in crime here tonight, indestructible Yvonne Arnold. Yvonne has had a very good with us tonight. Yvonne and Lan, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the evening. Everyone else who's here, at some point, Nick Stuart is standing out there in the reception area, and Weinstock will be taking your photograph, and when you go down to say hello to Nick, he'll take your picture as a souvenir. It was once said of Nick Stuart, if he had been Russian, he would have been world champion. It was said of Lisa Mason that if she had been Romanian, she would have been world champion. And we used to say, if only we had better gym halls, we could do something. Well, in all disciplines, we can now boast gymnasts and coaches who teach and perform at the highest of world levels, European, world and Olympic champions. We, tonight, assembled, endured the wilderness years. We survived the pioneering days. We now benefit and enjoy with the best gymnastics in the world. Our generation have so much to be proud of. You are the diamond generation in the history of gymnastics in Great Britain. We beat everything. Post-war depression, the Cold War, the lottery, Margaret Thatcher, risk assessments, Spanish flu, Russian flu, Asian flu, Wuhan flu, the beast from the east. We keep surviving. Many of us were brought up on austerity and rationing. Yes, rationing. Rationing didn't come off sugar in this country until 1958. Now, I never saw sweets until I was at secondary school. I was 12 years old before I saw sweets and sugar. And that's why probably today I have to use an orange box to stand here and talk. Do you remember, quite a few of you, Enid Blyton? Noddy, good old big ears, he's had autoplasty. Jolly old Billy Bunter, he's had a good go at lipo. And for the younger generation, Love Island, nothing. We had Andy Pandy, Louie Lou and Teddy. End of every episode, in the basket, down with the lid for a week. Do you remember Robertson's Jam? Yeah. I collected the stickers and got the metal pin badge. Oh, by golly, it was fun. Dixon of Doc Green and the black and white minstrels? Well, they were just there. I had a black and white television, I didn't know the difference. We didn't invent them, we didn't choose them. They were a reflection of the times we lived in. One foot was still in the pre-war era, pre-Second World War era. But absolutely, we slept well at night, sure in the knowledge that the pink bits on the World Atlas were ours. Today's generation are acutely aware of new issues to worry about. But hopefully, with post-pandemic recovery, all will come into perspective and into proportion, and we will return to enjoying the sport of our champions, the training and the competing, with all matters resolved, much healing, and with a bright new future ahead. The flesh and bones of the sporting success and achievements which this gymnastics community now enjoy came from your hands, your efforts, and our passion. The man we remember this evening was the guiding star we looked to and we followed. So we turn around his personality and generosity of spirit, and we dedicate this evening to Nick Stuart. Please welcome Mike Swallow, Chairman of the Nick Stuart Foundation, who will read the citation.
Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I bid you a warm welcome to the 18th Annual Nick Stuart Foundation Dinner and Hall of Fame ceremony. We are pleased to welcome our honoured inductees into the Nick Stuart Foundation Hall of Fame. Let us remind ourselves why we are here this evening, and that is to honour the name of Nick Stuart, for many of us, our mentor, I think the citation of the diplomas says it all. The foundation honours Nick Stuart, MBE, who through his philosophy, ideals and interests served his country with distinction and inspired all those who came in contact with him throughout the world towards self-improvement and physical education. A renowned ambassador, gymnast, diver, acrobat and lecture demonstrator par excellence, and the father of modern gymnastics in Britain. And to award and induct into the Hall of Fame those who, by example, have similarly distinguished themselves, inspired and benefited others. So I wish you all a pleasant and enjoyable evening. Trevor mentioned about how we moved from the past into the present. It's not that long ago, in 2003, in Anaheim at the World Championships, the men's team were 23rd in the world. The women's team also didn't really feature. And as Trevor said, we now bestride the rest of the world. And it's down to the foundation, the group of people that are here today, their coaches and their coaches' coaches. So I bid you all welcome, and I wish you an enjoyable evening. As I'd like to hand you over back to the Master of Ceremonies and Vice Chairman of the Institute of the Foundation. Trevor.
Thank you very much, Chair. As a change to past years, we're going to allow you to enjoy the full meal, starter, main course and dessert seamlessly under new management here. And as we all thought last time, it can only get better, and I'm sure it will. Take a comfort break as you wish, but don't miss the chance to buy raffle tickets from Hillary and Sue, and the silent auction where you can bid for things that you don't want or you brought yourself. It's all a bit fun, and it's meant to raise money to help us carry on with the work of the Foundation. Tea and coffee and cheese board will be served straight to your table, and after 2 years, we really do have a lot of awards to get through from the distant past and from the present. But first, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Reverend Lucien Euridge, who will read the grace.
So let us pray. Creator and Lord of all, we give you thanks that we're able to gather tonight. We thank you for the heroes and stars of our sport. We remember those who have died, who served our sport so very well. We call to mind all those not able to be here tonight, and those who will join us later. We pray this day for all who keep our sport alive. We pray they will inspire the next generation. And now, as we prepare to enjoy one another's company, we ask you to bless the food we shall eat and our time together. Amen.
So that's it then, Maitre D', the show is yours. Bon appetit.
Anything you fancy? Sing anything you fancy?
Oh yeah, I've got 2 bids in, but it's one of those things, I'm not really bothered whether I get them or not, but at least it forces you to bid in it.
Seen his work. You know, what I'm saying is it's relatively good for GCSEs. Do you have that colour right in the name?
Yeah.
Less short draws and make this a When we were in quarantine, right? We had to go to court.
No lines, nothing on it. 562. The ticket is all blue. Not a blue order. There we go. There you are, you see. Last man to buy a ticket. You see, we're all too late. Then you should be rushed in. 562, Mr. Colin. Stagger over and everywhere.
Right, 562.
I'm definitely on pink now, and then the pink 435. 435. What a coincidence. My wife just wants something. What a coincidence. White ticket with a blue surround.
That's a thing.
Or is that a blue ticket with a white medal? 222. 222. With a blue border. 222.
Anything, take anything. Sparkling, carver, hand cream, hand lotion, shower gels, hand lotion, teddies, hair,
Thank you.
photo frame with a
Pink border. 393. 393.
Go on.
393.
Blue border on white ticket 190. 190. Orange on a white ticket. Orange border 378. 378. There you go, you see. Couple of quid in my back pocket, get you anything.
Alfred.
Got another orange border of white tickets. 305. 305.
I never win anything.
305.
Now.
I don't know.
I think you should get this then.
On a blue border. White in the middle, blue border. 158. 158 for the blue border. Everyone's pointing. And he's not holding up.
Was Liz Collins. I don't know, many of you know Liz Collins, but Liz Collins was a friend of Nick Stuart's and contributed a great amount to British gymnastics. Unfortunately, she passed away this year. There's Maurice Knight, Jeff Covley. I don't know how many of you remember Jeff Covley, but Jeff Continental, he was known as, because he was always there at every competition, and what he didn't know about equipment and organising of the equipment and stuff, nobody else did. He was incredible. Unfortunately, Jeff passed away last year. And then we come to our Army School of Physical Training. I mean, this is what really the Nick Stuart Foundation is about. Because during Nick's time in the Army School of Physical Training, he actually managed to coach and take men, not boys, but men, and become international gymnasts. Which was quite amazing. And when you look at the honours board of British Gymnastics, he isn't even on there as a master coach. That is criminal. But we've lost this year Tony Stedman, Bert Dooley, Bob Trennan. They were the mainstay of the Army School of Physical Training and the Adult Shield. And we've also lost our supporters John Bowen, Everton, remember Everton? George Whedon, 1940 Olympic Games, and Maureen Dooley. So, ladies and gentlemen, will you please be upstanding in remembrance of those people who passed and any other absent friends that we know of. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while you're still standing, will you please be upstanding for the loyal toast? Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen. The Queen. I'll now hand you back to our Master of Ceremonies.
Tea and coffee station has been set up just opposite the bar, and any time you want, just help yourself. It'll be there, it'll be topped up for the rest of the evening. So, for the awards this evening, if we can settle down, now we can make a start. And first, there is a small group of recipients who are unable to be here tonight. But we'll go very briefly through them for you so you understand the importance of these individuals in the gymnastics story. Jeff Coverley has won the Nick Stuart Memorial Award and is unfortunately posthumous. He died last year from a very long-standing illness. In the very early days of gymnastics, he was one of the few engineers in equipment who actually had been a gymnast and he knew something about it. So by the time we were into the big events with television, Jeff had a unique relationship with all the coaches. He instinctively knew what the coaches wanted. It was almost telepathic. He could put things right before you knew they were wrong. And above all, he was a really nice guy. United Kingdom Diploma of Honour 2021, Mike Euridge. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight because his wife is extremely ill. Mike's involvement in gymnastics came as a young man, again military in the Marines. And he competed in the historic matches, Marines versus the Army. And at that time, the Army were the best gymnasts in the country. They were very much the British team. It was after his military retirement that he was able to direct his great knowledge to establishing the pathway from hobby to sport to business. He coached at the Hawks Motel Leisure and Gymnastics Centre before opening a major dedicated club in Exeter, where he continued to build great teams of coaches and gymnasts who made the British team. A lady who, unfortunately, unable to be with us tonight, 2021 United Kingdom Diploma of Honour and Lifetime Achievement. This is a lady where it's difficult to know where to start. Dame Louise Martin, DBE, Dame of the British Empire. It would take really a novel to fully understand the vital role that Louise played in the development of gymnastics in Scotland and Great Britain. And she had a forever involvement in the Commonwealth Games movement. Coincidence, Louise and I share a name and a place of birth. Louise was born named Campbell in 1946 in Dunfermline. She is the president of the Commonwealth Games Federation. She is also a Scottish sports administrator, retired athlete, nutritionalist and former educator. In 2002, she was named the UK Sports Administrator of the Year by the Sunday Times. In the 2003 New Year Honours list, Louise was appointed a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, for services to the Commonwealth Games and was promoted to Dame Commander in the 2019 New Year's Honours List for services to sport. Now this takes a little bit of getting your head round. So, she holds honorary degrees from Matei University, Glasgow Caledonian University, the University of Stirling, University of Strathclyde and Heriot-Watt University. This is one very bright lady. So, Dame Louise Livingston Martin, United Kingdom Diploma of Honour. International Diploma of Honour 2020, Gheorghe Predescu, Romania, Scotland and GB. Gheorghe was an international gymnast and coach in the Romanian Gymnastics Federation, who became a prominent director and coach at Reșița City Gymnastics School in Romania. His special ability to think outside of the established coaching box led to a personal philosophy and technical coaching that was adventurous, inquiring and futuristic. For a number of years, Gheorghe experimented with vaulting with the springboard the other way around, with the fat end nearest the runway, and he achieved very great success in the technique of getting better block off the vault by using this strange reversal of the springboard. Unfortunately, the FIG decided it wasn't a good idea, so they said he couldn't do it. They then built into the rules that the thin end had to be at the front. His appointment to British Gymnastics provided a key component to our understanding of systems and training load management. He simplified technique, in particular on pommels and high bar, both of which has subsequently seen GB excel. He was indeed a vital gymnastics influencer. He was gymnastics coach and lecturer for Loughborough College and has now returned to Romania to take on directorship of the National Gymnastics Programme for Men. So, if we're all watching the teams and where we are against the other countries in Europe, keep your eye on Romania. They'll be coming back very soon. International Diploma of Honour 2021. Matei Todorov, acrobat. As an acrobat with his twin brother, he was superb. As a coach, he was thorough. As Director of Acrobatics and Tumbling to GB, he brought a unity of discipline that allowed GB to dominate world and European acrobatics and tumbling. He was also a very fine singer. He will always be acknowledged as a coach with patience, a positive voice, quiet and understanding, supporting and convincing all under his care that he could solve all their problems. Magical man. But now at last we come to the people who are here. So it's time to ask to come and help with the presentations. Nick's daughter, Nicola Stuart, please join us up here. So we're going to have another little go at a time machine here, and I want you to picture in your mind Slough. Now, I know on a good day, Slough can be almost beautiful in a beautiful minimalistic way. 23A High Street, Slough, were the first offices of Bagger. And at that time, you only needed one hand to count the staff. They all knew each other, and they knew almost everyone in gymnastics by their Christian names. They were dealing with two disciplines, men and women's, and something new that they called rhythmic gymnastics. They shared the office with acrobats who did their own business and had their own sport. Hendon was the only dedicated facility in London. It took Heathrow another 2 years to find the wind to blow up their first hall. In that office in 23A, many of us here may remember the infamous Kalamazoo files. They were the latest technology in filing systems, and I think British Gymnastics survived on that system for many years. But now, this is important. It was at this time that June Tatch was asked to take on the volunteer role of Regional Secretary for the very large London and Kent Amateur Gymnastics Association. So, armed with a small box which contained all the papers, and she really believed at that time that she would be joining a meeting and doing the minutes every other month. That's not what happened. June made the job sit up and take itself seriously. A daily challenge which she took on for 25 years, a quarter of a century, she held the post. June combined her voluntary job with her real job as an NHS administration manager. She brought that professionalism to the sport and made it work in administration. As time went on, she found herself, often by default, taking on more and more roles, including the region. Among the many tasks she passed over when she left, when she retired, she had been doing Regional Welfare Officer, Newsletter Editor, London Youth Games Coordinator, Annual Awards, Dinner Organisation, Regional Awards Administration, Regional Website, Yearbook Production, Safeguarding Children, Tutor, Regional Secretary, Regional Coaching Coordinator, and that actually became a full-time post. There was so much of it. She also served at the same time as a regional judge. June finally handed over that box of files in 2009. She was awarded honorary life membership of British Gymnastics, and there's little doubt that June is sadly missed in the sport, and I'm sure she herself misses the cut and thrust of the region. In the search for knowledge and information, the default panacea for today's generation is to Google it. If in doubt, Google it. Our generation didn't have a machine. We used to touch it. If you were in doubt, touch it. Ring June. You recognise it, yes. June has recently overcome a serious illness and surgery, but she's here tonight to accept this Nick Stuart Award. So one more time, let's touch it and welcome the indomitable whirlwind of energy that is June Tatch. United Kingdom Diploma of Honour 2020. Weinstock, please, would you come and help us? Oh, it's going to be difficult. Why? You're used to multitasking, aren't you? Your assistant will take over. I should have said your beautiful assistant will take over. Wales has so often provided the champions and the leaders to inspire and direct gymnastics in Britain. Arthur Whitford of Swansea and Sketty held 10 GB championship titles to Nick Stewart's 9. Ken Buffin, Stan Lee, Bobby Williams, Andrew Morris, Sissy Davis of Swansea, Margaret Neal and Denise Goddard of Cardiff, just a few of the Welsh stars and legends who have been brought to the very front of British gymnastics. No surprise then that in difficult times we rely upon Wales to provide us with a president to lead us. Helen Phillips has been part of the gymnastics family since at the age of 4 she was introduced to the sport by her sister. Helen has an instinct and capacity for problem solving and an incredible track record in corporate business and sport. She is company director with a shareholding in Entrotech, an innovative market leader and the largest UK manufacturer in the electronic security sector. The skills that Helen took to Entrotech have been generously applied to her passion for and to the benefit of gymnastics. Helen is a non-executive chair of Commonwealth Games Wales, leading the Commonwealth Games Team Wales board through the most successful period, Glasgow 2014 and Gold Coast 2018. That's quite a mouthful. Gymnastics Games Team Wales Board. Commonwealth Games Federation Sports Committee representative. She started in 2019 and she will be staying there for quite a while yet. As Welsh Gymnastics Limited, she is a non-executive chair. She led a modernisation strategy across all aspects of the business at corporate, development and high performance level, increasing membership by 500%, increasing turnover by 400%, and enabling a system to achieve 13 medals from 3 Commonwealth Games. All as a result of efficient and sustained strategic focus. During her 8 years at British Gymnastics, as a director, Helen has had a significant impact on the modernisation of its purpose, its leadership and its strategical direction leading up to London 2012. Appointed at the request of the Welsh Government, she co-authored a review of Sport Wales and was awarded MBE for services to Welsh gymnastics. On her shoulders, and in partnership with the new Chief Executive Officer for British Gymnastics, Helen, I am sure, will take us hopefully post-pandemic to a more unified and successful future. Please welcome Helen Phillips, MBE.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. And Alan told me I can say a few words, but he did say keep it brief. Thank you to Mike and Trevor, obviously in competition to Ant and Deck. Not too sure who's who, but it's an absolute privilege to be invited today. Thank you so much. It's an honour to receive this award. I had the pleasure of meeting Nick on a few occasions, and not only did he have an infectious smile and behaviour, he had innovative coaching techniques which would be applauded today. So it's an absolute honour to receive this award. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the trustees as well for the hard work that's been done. And as President of British Gymnastics, okay, it hasn't been that long that I've been in post, and we've had a few challenging times over the last 2 years. It's a privilege to be here with so many coaches and so many people who, without, we would not be receiving the success and the amazing achievements of the gymnasts today without the whole hard work that's been done over the many, many years. So I am in a room, I'm in the presence of greatness. These two ladies here, you are the future of our sport, I am going to be proud till the day I die. You're amazing. Christine, your success as a coach. There's so many people in this room. There's been so many people in this room that have influenced the success of the sport today, and long may that continue. And finally, I will say, on behalf of Dame Louise Martin, a very good friend of mine who I've been in meetings with this week, she is devastated she couldn't be here today, and she did ask me to pass on her personal thanks. And I have said to Alan and Mike, if we can, during the Commonwealth Games, I'll host a dinner and we can invite Louise along to present her award. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Can I ask Tanya, please, to come forward? Tanya Swan, who's helping with presentations. United Kingdom Diploma of Honour and Lifetime Achievement Award 2020 This is one occasion where I did use Google, and a quick Google search suggested that Peter Moore was either a former Chief Executive Officer of Liverpool Football Club, a trombonist, a cricket coach, a programmer for Nifty Games, a serial criminal, the author of a novel called Vroom, a travel influencer, or a legend in club gymnastics and GB. I ruled out one straight away. Peter just doesn't have the lips for the trombone. And of course, at least one other on that list, maybe more, are still incarcerated. So let's talk about Peter Moore, a legend in club gymnastics, a former PTI in Yorkshire, and the groundsman for bowls, cricket, you name it. If you wanted a decent pitch, if you wanted something great to play on, you found no one better than Peter in the trade. Peter and his wife appeared on the gymnastics scene with son Simon, and later his sister Sally, at the local club Sasa, which had been running since 1910. With a sound knowledge in matters physical and fitness, he was soon making a significant mark in the sport. And through a very inquiring and well-organised mind, he set about creating a club that would meet the challenges of modern national class performance. By 1969, Peter had studied and researched the gymnastics pathway. He was a regular at the Luton Boys courses, always taking notes while he was coaching. Sutton School of Gymnastics emerged in 1985, and a string of great gymnasts and coaches followed. His son Simon, of course, one of our great national coaches, and Lee McDermott, great gymnast, now working in New Zealand, I believe, and Gisela Harrison, who was also producing gymnasts of great quality. British juniors followed with Philip Alsop, Junior GB International. Peter's multi-skilled ability and his capacity to get people to agree meant that he was soon gathered into the governance of gymnastics, taking responsibility at some point for almost every job in London, Kent, London and the South East and the London Federation. He took teams to Kiskunhalas, Hungary, Ypres and Novgorod, Russia. At 83, he still coaches in his local club. His last big outing was skiing in Bulgaria just before lockdown. And he remains the much respected president of the London Federation. Always the diplomat, cheerful and a pleasure to converse with, here tonight, please welcome the real Peter Moore.
I'd just like to thank the Federation for this honour, and I'd also like to thank the London people.
Hello, hello.
That's it. That's the one.
Hello, hello. But I'll start again. I'd like to thank the Federation for this honour. And it's great to see all these people who I've known for such a long, long time. And I'd like to thank people from the London Federation who have helped me so much, well, particularly when I come to be president, because I'm not great at speaking, but they all helped me out when they had to do. Thank you very much.
Just lost the... Oh! Huh? Oh, right.
I've been asked if I can call a short break for anyone who wants a quick exit and return. Right, and we're going to sort some cables out. Okay, thank you, Vila. Just a few minutes. And we'll be back with you shortly. We have polo shirt, Ivan, table 3. We have Lucy, table 5. This is the Meg Warren print. This one, Lucy, table 5. Another t-shirt, small one. Table 2, RM, table 2. Table 3, YY. Table 3, YY, gymnastics, pendants. Pommel horse, Meg Warren picture. It's like EC, table 10. Pommel horse picture. EC, table 10. ST on table 1. We'll learn a lot more about Shannon Miller. Ready for a shower with an England towel. ST. ST. Oh. EC, table 10. Glasgow polo shirt. Table 9, RPC. Enlarged brandy bowl. Or is it a flower vase? Take the whole bottle of brandy in there. RPC number 9. Meg Warren picture, BAS, table 2. Meg Warren picture, BAS, table 2. England, Gold Coast. Table 3. Like SOF. Table 3. Someone's won it, that's the main thing. One left. Let me just check we haven't left anything out.
Okay. Enjoyed it? Have you enjoyed it?
What he actually was saying, they wanted to clear the tables. However, sorry, I thought we'd lost someone there. Okay, United Kingdom Diploma of Honour and Lifetime Achievement from 2020. A recipient must be one of the least trumpeted but most successful and active all-rounders in the sport of gymnastics. Mike Weinstock started in a career in 1970 as a trainee draftsman in structural engineering. Much of Mike's life has been spent joyfully outdoors and travelling the world. His collection of photo images is testament to his love of the great outdoors, and it was no surprise that in 1977 he hung up his pencils and changed his career to being a PE teacher. In '79 he was PE head of faculty, and by 1983 he was director of coaching for gymnastics at the PE Centre in Burslem. This was part of the first great movement of specialist gymnastic centres within education authorities. Gymnastics was always at the heart of his imagination, and he was exceptionally gifted in nurturing young talent. A few of his many gymnasts included Neil Thomas, twice silver medalist at the World Championships, Robert Barber, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, Jane Lowndes, GB team member and Commonwealth Games. Mike was high performance coach for gymnastics at the Glasgow School of Sport, Bellahousen Academy, and in 2001 he was the Principal National Development Officer for British Gymnastics, no less. His management and leadership experience saw him chair of the men's tech and frequently delegation head for GB for England through 6 cycles of Commonwealth Games. Mike is one of those rare people who have an instinct for holistic teaching, be it maths, English, PE, gymnastics, or whatever you want. He was a born teacher. His inquiring mind and empathy with the learning process is very real. He has been known to sit with a 7-year-old under a table with a torch for a spotlight, playing mastermind with specialist subjects from his class members like the 4 times table. Primary, secondary, university students, teachers are all captured by his infectious enthusiasm and ability to open the inquiring mind. So please, let's have a spotlight and applause as Mike comes on stage to test me on the 5 times table.
Well, thank you ever so much. I feel quite humble, really. I don't see myself as being up there with all those other illustrious people. I feel very lucky. I've had a fantastic life in this family of gymnastics and all the people I've met, the children, the coaches, the judges. had a very difficult couple of years, 18 months, and we've had some problems and people have been accused of certain things. I would like to say well done and congratulations. There are hundreds of clubs out there who do a fabulous job providing opportunities for thousands of brilliant coaches, and I certainly enjoy, I get massive buzz from the coaching event. So well done, keep up the good work. I'm excited about the future with our new CEO and with Helen's direction and all the good people we do have, and we do have fabulous people, the people stood on your shoulders, all the people here. So the success that people are having now takes a long time, and all the coaches from the past. So thank you ever so much.
Okay, United Kingdom Diploma of Honour and Lifetime Achievement Diploma. It's the wine. Achievement Diploma. Colin and Christine Still, we've got two separate presentations, two very different people, one super team for gymnastics. Christine Still, back in the late 60s as a young coach, she was brought by Edna Gross along to the London and South East training session. She made an impact, not only with the furry boots and clogs, but it was her get on and get it done approach. A few years later, Christine Ashton, as she was then, took over the running of Loughton Gymnastics Club. Even from this young age, Christine knew exactly what she wanted from a gymnast. Perfection, perfection, perfection. With husband Colin Still, she went on to produce many national team members for Olympic, World and European Championships. On their move to Shropshire, they joined Park Gym Club, and together they coached British champion Laura Timms, Louise Redden, Laura Mannering. The club has now become the Park Region College Gymnastics Club. In 2017, the club finally moved into their own gym. Her most recent successes are with co-coach Brett Innes, Alice Kinsella, UK representative at many events, 2019 European beam champion, and of course recently Olympic team bronze in Tokyo. Christine manages to combine her work with the BBC commentary team and still be a very successful coach at the highest level. To have worked at this level for over 50 years is truly amazing. Colin showed his talent as a coach back in the early days at London and South East training, and during the mid-70s, Loughton gymnasts such as Karen Layton, Jan Skelton, Julie Stuart. 1982 and 84, Loughborough Gym Club were the national team champions. In 1979, he stepped in as coach for the World Championships at Fort Worth. He then went on to be honorary national coach until 1984, when he was appointed women's national coach, relocating to Shropshire and leaving the club where they had made so much of an impact. 1998, he was coach for Wales at the Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur. He became the women's national coach for Scotland and took the women's team Scotland to the Commonwealth Games in Manchester, 2002. In 2007, Colin became the women's national coach for British Gymnastics, working with Adrian Stan. Once Colin became national coach, of course, he was not allowed to coach in his own club. The rules have been bent a little bit more recently, but it was quite adamant at that time that in order to have a national coach, the club had to lose their coach completely. Colin's record is enormous, coaching at many European and World Championships, as well as 1984, 1892 Olympics, and then 2008, 2012 and 2016 Olympics. Individually, Colin and Christine are great coaches. Together, they are a legendary dream team. Please welcome Colin and Christine Still.
I'll leave Colin to have the final say. Just to say, guys, it's been a fantastic adventure. Like, first gymnast we coached to World Championships was in '78, when I think we probably, I wasn't there, but Colin was the team coach, we were probably 17th in the world. It's just been a great adventure. Thank you.
See if we can make this more than 5 minutes, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting Chris and myself here. Nick Stuart was a great ambassador. I had the privilege, or Chris and I had the privilege of listening to him on many occasions. He was inspirational in his lecturing. I then went on and worked with him as national coach. Is that it? And then went on and worked alongside him as national coach up at Liverpool from in the 80s and onwards from there. If you look at where our gymnastics came from when we started, or when Chris and I started in '78 Strasbourg and onwards from there, we were about 20th in the world. But that moved through many years until we ended up with these 2 fine girls plus 2 others who ended up with a bronze medal at the Olympic Games. So, I know there are a lot of people in this room and a lot of people not in this room that contributed, you would not know this, but contributed to that performance. So over the 50 years that we've been doing all this, guys out there, thank you very much.
We have a series of awards now to finish up with, and they're called the Spirit Awards because it's the spirit of Nick Stuart, his gift of having fun as well as me doing the work. And these spirits are normally, we give them to the younger performers. But in this case, there are some outstanding players. 2 of them are not here today, so let's have a quick look at those 2. Spirit of Gymnastics, Diploma of Distinction 2020. Joe Fraser, Great Britain, Olympian and World Parallel Bars Champion, has a Diploma of Distinction. It's an exceptional career the boy has had, and despite a small setback at the last championships, the last Olympics, he's still a great gymnast, and I'm sure there are more major medals to come from Joe. Second Spirit Diploma 2021 goes to James Hall, England and Great Britain. Again, a very fine gymnast and a guy who's got a lot more to offer us. However, we're now down to the people who are here today, which is more interesting. Again, 2 separate presentations coming up, but they're going to be getting these awards together. Spirit of Gymnastics Diploma 2021 will be going to Jessica and Jennifer Gadirova. Okay. Their grandparents lived in Baku, Azerbaijan. Grandmother is a retired paediatrician, and grandfather a professor in physics and mathematics. Their father Natig and their mother Ilona Azeri and worked in Azerbaijan, but in 2001 Mum and Dad moved to London, then in 2004 to Dublin, where the twins were born. Jennifer and Jessica, as a result, have Irish and British citizenship and compete for England and Great Britain. So there's nothing unusual about this, is there? The sisters began gymnastics at 6-year-old because mother wanted them to have an outlet for their energy. And this is a common way we get the great talents into the sport. As they developed as gymnasts, their talent was obvious. Coaches Molly and Joshua Richardson at Aylesbury Gymnastics took them on and have worked a miracle in taking the girls along the pathway to international recognition. The family have a hero as well, a very brave man, Matei, 4 daughters. As well as Jessica and Jennifer, he has his other daughters, Sophia and Julia. So, 4 daughters, a very brave man. Congratulations to you, Matei. Great job. We'll have a chance to talk about many of their achievements in a few minutes. But Jessica capped a brilliant week at the European Championships, adding to her bronze and silver earlier in the week with a gold in the floor event in Basel, Switzerland. The sisters joined the GB team at the much-delayed Tokyo Olympics and helped the team take bronze in a team finals that left many stunned at the achievement of Great Britain. The performances by the girls were essential to getting that result, and I think we're going to talk to them in a few minutes in more detail about that. So please, let's have the presentation. Jennifer and Jessica with 2 Olympic bronze medals and receiving their Nick Stuart Award. Spirit of gymnastics. Now, photographs been taken? At this stage, what we're going to do, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to have a question and answer. You're going to get a chance to pose some of the questions that you might like to ask the girls, and I'm going to start the ball rolling with the question that everybody must ask you. You must be bored, so let's get it out of the way. Who's the oldest? Okay, we've got the oldest. Now tell us, who's who? Have you all got that now? So you know who you're talking to. Now, questions. What questions have we got for them? What would you like to know? They're stunned. We've got some results. Let's have a look at the results. From the floor final, how unusual is it to be competing against each other in such a major competition?
We are kind of used to competing against each other just doing normal competitions, so I didn't feel like it was any different.
Are you competitive against each other? Do you ever get the feeling, I'm going to beat her today?
Yes and no. Like, when it comes to, like, say at the gym we do games, like, we are very competitive, but in the competition floor we're very encouraging and supportive.
What would you say is your best experience in gymnastics, you personally, the thing that's given you the most pleasure and satisfaction?
I think just going to the Olympic Games was just an amazing experience, and then to walk away with a medal just topped it. Same, but then also with our teammates Alice and Emily and my twin sister too.
stupid question is, of your medal collection, which is the best medal you have?
I think the one that we got around our neck.
I think so too. Which was the hardest earned championship win you've ever had?
The Olympics, because it comes around every 4 years and sometimes it's hard to stay in the sport for that long and make the teams, and having the honour to make the team but also win the medal just was incredible.
Let's take you to your weekly training. What do you have to sacrifice to be able to do all the hours of training? What do you miss most that all the other kids are doing? What do you miss most?
Like seeing our school friends out of school. We're always in the gym training, working hard, so we like sacrifice having to see our friends, but at the same time we get to see our gym friends, so we're not missing out too much.
Because we train away from our family in different cities, and during the week we don't see our family until the weekend, so we're training every day without our family, and then it's off to the weekend, and then sometimes during the Olympic Games we didn't see them for like 6 weeks, so it's a very long time.
That is a long time. I'd like to ask Dad a question, actually. How difficult is the responsibility for two gymnasts with such exceptional talent? Do you feel that as a responsibility?
Yes, certainly I do feel the responsibility, but because it's what they achieve, and it's for the current generation of the young kids, and they inspire so many people, they bring joy to so many people's homes, and basically what they do it for everyone is something to be really proud of, and I do obviously feel very, very good.
We do forget that the responsibility of the parents in this situation is immense. It's unbelievable how much they give up to be able to put their children into sport, and certainly at this level they miss a lot of the growing up that they would normally see their family do. So for parents who are in the position of having this sort of talent in the family, hats off to them, congratulations to the parents. Any more questions out there? Yes?
I'd love to know what it felt like competing at Olympic Games without an audience.
Well, I think it's like quite different for us because that was like our first senior competition, and we never really did senior competitions with many crowds. We were coming up as juniors and not very many people watched juniors. So, also like all the trials there like closed doors, so we kind of got used to like no noise and not very many people, so I didn't think it was much different.
Do you get inspired by people cheering for you?
I think it really does help with the nerves and having people cheering your name, and it really motivates you to just do your best even though you will try to do your best.
And what about academics, school? How tough is it to keep the homework going?
Very tough, but without the support of our school and everyone else, it wouldn't have been possible to get this gymnastics achievement, but also get good grades in our GCSEs as well.
Who is your all-time favourite gymnast?
I said this in an interview once, when we were growing up, we never really had someone who, like a gymnast, who inspired us to like do gym, but to just work hard every day in gym has always been my sister, working hard together. Yeah.
You inspire each other?
Yeah, definitely. Like she said, we didn't really look up to much people, but she was always there by my side, so we pushed each other and inspired each other to be the best we could be.
Everyone's waking up now, that's what we wanted.
What
biggest dream outside of gymnastics?
Your biggest dream outside of gymnastics. There is an outside to gymnastics. So you've got to start dreaming now. What's your big dream?
I haven't really been thinking about that because I'm still young. So just focus on gymnastics.
Do you have a career in mind? Are you thinking of being a paediatrician or a professor of maths or?
I would like to do something with media because I think that's quite media or presenting and quite nice.
My job.
Yeah, but also I feel like doing something within the sport would be amazing because we've grown up with it.
Any more? Everyone's. Oh yes, we have one over here. Sorry, trying to look at the side of my head.
I was going to ask earlier, but you sort of half answered it, but due to the competitive nature of gymnastics, when one of you learns a new skill, does it take that much more time for the other one to catch up?
Oh, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Who tends to learn the skill first? Who finds it? You find it easier?
I find it easier and I pick up skills quicker, but I sometimes find it harder to keep it going, and sometimes I lose it and then bring it back, but then my twin sister will take her time, but then we both end up being the same.
If we end up being the same, with more medals like this, we'll all be very happy. So, congratulations, Jennifer and Jessica, Matei. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Jessica and Jennifer. Now, I know one or two people have asked me if it's possible to get some pictures at the end with Jessica and Jennifer. We do normally do a collective shot, so all of the award winners, we would like to come out to in front of the photographs. And finally, before we finish, thank you very much for being a patient audience, and Mike Swallow will now close proceedings.
If you ever had any doubts of the use of today, they are an inspiration. Just wait your turn, June. I'll go back to that. If you're ever concerned about the youth of today, boy, they are an inspiration. And thank you. It's been a long journey. I was talking to the two of them earlier, and I said, one of my first competitions, I went on to floor at the Yorkshire Championships, and it was a parquet floor, and we had 2 coconut mats. So the first mat was down for the first pass, and I went down there and I said to the coach, now can you move that across to the other side so when I come down to do my third pass? I got down into the corner and he was chatting to some bird in the audience. And I went, never mind. So I just completed the last tumble on the bare floor. And when you look at what's being done today, especially by these two, it's a different world. It's been a long, long journey, but boy, have we succeeded. And I thank everybody that's in here today for the journey that you've come with us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, award winners, please, across to the photograph area over there. Take the medals with you, girls.